Hi everyone, my name is Eleanor and today I wanted to chat to you about my week 4 update after having gastric sleeve surgery. So I had gastric sleeve surgery on the 13th of March 2020. It's now the 11th of April in 2020, so it's currently 1:39 a.m. and I decided I'm going to do my week 4 update because why not? I've just knocked over my diary, which is a great start to the video, but hey, who cares? Alright, so if you like this content, then press the subscribe button below and also hit the notification bell. Also, press the thumbs up button if you like this video. Alright, so some good things that have been happening so far. I've been recovering very well. I've been able to drink reasonably well. I still avoid really cold fluids, just temperature wise. I don't like it. My stomach doesn't like it because often the cold fluid is hitting a very empty stomach in my case, so it just doesn't work very well for me. To combat this, I usually have lots of tea during the day, which, you know, I have black tea with one equal, which is an artificial sweetener, and soy milk. I usually try and buy the protein enhanced soy milk, but if that's not been available due to the restrictions and the grocery unavailability at times, I just get unsweetened soy milk. That's how I've been dealing with the fluids side of things, but you're going to find out that during my week 3 and 4 I've had some troubles, but let's keep on the good things at the moment. So in terms of recovering well, my laparoscopic incision sites have also fully healed, so that's wonderful. I mean, they healed after 2 weeks, so it's not like it was anything bad. And I've been using vitamin E oil or bio oil or Palmer's stretch mark cream for the area. Usually I use the cream for any dry skin. I have eczema, so I've got a compromised skin barrier already, but to prevent me scratching any itchy skin, I need to make sure I have very moisturized skin so I don't have dry skin. I generally don't have any pain unless I've eaten too fast or too much. And even where there was some muscle pain above my laparoscopic incision site, that's pretty much ceased now. And yeah, another good thing is I can now start eating big tablets. So I experimented with taking some of my big supplements. For example, a calcium supplement, the Citracal with vitamin D, instead of the chewables, the calcium chewable, to see if I can tolerate having big tablets, and I can now have them. I can also have my big cranberry tablet, they're supplements. So I'm actually going to move from having chewable multivitamins to having the tablet form of multivitamins and the tablet form of the calcium. The reason being is I just found that I really dreaded the morning, the afternoon and the evening when it came to having my chewable multivitamins or my chewable calcium. I just don't like it. I get really sick from them. Oh, there's Kaylee in the background. You probably just heard her. Yeah, and it's just, I don't enjoy eating them. They sometimes make me feel a bit sick after eating them, so I thought, nah, I'm just going to wait until week 3 or 4, see when I can start having tablets and then or the capsules, and then just start doing it then. So that's been really good news. If you heard my mouse click just now, it's because I've got my notes on my screen, so I was just clicking to the next thing. Alright, let's talk about some of my struggles. Last week, week 3 started, and that's when I started having puree, so I moved from my fluid diet to my puree diet. Now, something that I found really difficult, and I have still found difficult, is just juggling drinking versus eating my puree. The reason being is that I can't do them at the same time, and I need to time it, so I need to wait a good half an hour to an hour after I've had fluids, like drunk, you know, half a cup to a cup of water or fluid, to you know, wait half an hour to an hour later so that I can actually eat and not have too full of a stomach. And conversely, after I've had I've had my puree, like eaten or drunk my puree, I have to wait half an hour to an hour before I can drink fluids. Now, the reason why that's been really difficult for me is that regularly drinking and eating every hour or 2 hours is not something that I've ever had a routine on. And at the same time, I've actually had 4 weeks off from work, and I've been sleeping a lot. So my sleep pattern has actually been inverted, and I now fall asleep at 4 a.m. to between 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. and then I don't wake up until about between 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. and even then, like, because I actually wasn't having enough fluids and having enough food like puree or even calories, I was waking up, or have been waking up, extremely tired and just with absolutely no motivation or interest in doing anything. And then even when I was up, I'd have to really like I'd have very little energy or motivation, but I knew I had to drink, and I knew I had to have some purees or food, and I just I didn't want to, because I didn't have any energy, because I really wasn't having enough food at all. So something I've had to do to address that is to set a timer. So, you know, once I finish eating, I'll set a timer for, you know, 30 minutes or 1 hour, so that I know that in an hour I need to drink. I also am taking more notice of my drink reminder app. On my phone, it actually comes up with a little thing that says you need to drink, and I'm like, okay, fine, I'll drink something, even if it's 50 mils, you know, I drink. So that's something that you need to be aware of when you hit week 3 and 4, is that, you know, when you start having a puree, it'll fill up your tummy a lot more, and you can't drink at the same time. And yeah, I knew about this beforehand, but the reality of it really hit me hard. Although it's been really nice in terms of finding out that I could have, you know, potato mash, which is my favorite, one of my favorite foods on the planet. And also I've been having shepherd's pie, like a pureed mince with that. So that's been a really welcome thing, because I was getting over it so much at the end of week 2 in terms of fluids, and I was just so ready for purees, which I think a lot of people who have had this surgery really understand, and if you haven't yet, you will understand. So next thing is, let me just turn my computer on silent so that we can't hear noises coming from it. Yeah, so that's been something that's been happening with me. To combat this, like I said, I put a timer on, and I just have to get used to it. And I did ask my Facebook group, you know, is this normal to really be struggling with liquids and with purees or food, and as well as just coming to the reality of the other part is that's really hard, is I can't eat much. You know, I can only have half a cup of puree, or say half a cup of liquid, and then I'm full. Like, I can't force feed or force drink myself. So, you know, in the past, before surgery, if I haven't had enough to drink, I could just, you know, scull a lot of water or cordial. I can't do that anymore. So that's been really hard. The other thing that I've been struggling with is eating enough protein in the day, and that's because, you know, I've been sleeping a lot and not eating enough, so duh. But you know what? I'm getting better at it now. Yesterday I managed to get 1.3 litres or 1.4 litres of fluid in terms of drinking, and then I was able to eat about 500 to 600 calories of protein with a bit of vegetables, so that was really good. I mean, I had about 88 grams of protein, so that was a good thing. Yeah, so I'm getting better at it, and, you know, changing the habits of a lifetime takes time. And I'm not going to be someone who's really hard on myself, but I am going to be someone who's going to be diligently saying, okay, my goal is to have 1.5 litres of liquid, minimum of 1 litre, and then to eat, you know, 3 solid meals in a day. So that's kind of my approach, and mentally that's a lot nicer to myself than, you know, being really mean to myself and being really black and white. So today is really coming towards the end of week 4 now, because it's Friday and I had my surgery on a Friday, and I've started to actually progress towards eating a soft solid diet. So about 3 or 4 days ago, I discovered that I could eat chicken thigh, and that was such a welcome discovery. I'm like, oh my god, real food, solid food that is. And last night I tried having some kangaroo, so that was something I can eat. Eggs, you know, a soft scrambled egg I can have. If it's a hard scramble, it's actually a bit hard to digest for me. It just feels like it sits there for a long time. But a soft scramble is okay, but it's still a bit difficult for me to eat an egg. Like I can eat it, what I mean is to digest it. And I've been having broccoli puree. So I found that broccoli soup, sorry, that's my cat. You know what she's done? She's got into my wardrobe and she's climbing her way up the shelves. So like if this is the door and these are the shelves, she's actually wedged herself in between the shelf and the door so that she can climb all the way and use the rungs of the shelves to get to the top level so she can like view everything from the very top shelf. So if I look over there or I'm distracted or you hear any noise, that's my beautiful cat who loves to climb and be high. I should have closed that door, but I didn't get around to it. Anyway, so I've been having broccoli puree. I found a broccoli soup recipe, and then I just put less, what do you call it? Less stock than what the recipe said, and that's how I have broccoli puree instead of soup. That's been really nice. I think I prefer soup. I think I prefer whole broccoli, but I didn't want to put too much strain on my stomach, or my new stomach at the moment. So, you know, overall it's been going really well. I did have one really nasty occurrence, and it happened, I think, in week 3. So, I've been having soft silken tofu up until now, but I wanted to try maybe firm tofu. And I bought some marinated firm tofu, and I tried having, it was only like a quarter to half a cup of it, and I chewed it, but it really just stuck in my stomach, if that makes sense. It was really horrible. And at the same time, I'd also had some chocolate. Now, I don't know if it was the firm tofu or if it was the chocolate, but either way, the firm tofu itself really stuck in my stomach, and I think the chocolate really didn't agree with me. It was a dark chocolate, which probably didn't have much dairy in it, but maybe it was just enough dairy, or it was the chocolate that really angered my stomach, and everything was just sitting like a block like this in my stomach. And what happened was it just wouldn't move. Like nothing was gonna move it, and a lot of pressure was building up, and I literally could feel the food not moving down, and it was like stuck here. It felt like it was right at the base of my or sorry, the top of my throat, you know, at the back of my mouth. So after about, usually pain from eating too much or being really full goes away after 10 to 15 minutes, but it didn't happen for me. And what happened was I ended up, it was like 30 to 40 minutes of this, maybe less, but long story short, I ended up having to throw up, and it was actually really easy to throw up. Like nothing was going down and passing into my stomach, passing through my stomach or being digested. It just wouldn't. And I got to the point where I was like, I'm in so much pain. You know, the pressure was just constant and wouldn't let up, that I decided to throw up, and the food just went straight out of my mouth and into the bag that I was holding. And I ended up throwing up. When I say throwing up, in one session I threw up, like I vomited it about 3 or 4 times, and that ended up emptying my stomach. And then after about an hour later, after I, like immediately after I threw up or I vomited, the pressure was relieved. And you know, after the first regurgitation or vomit, I felt that I needed to keep going, and I tried again, you know, another 2-3 times, and I found that after about the 4th time, I ended up being able to empty the contents of my stomach. So that was really good, and you know, just the relief and pressure was amazing. And then after that, I went, I didn't eat or drink anything for a good hour or so, because that's how long it took for my stomach to really settle down. So in my case, I actually put out, you know, a post on one of my social media forums that I'm a part of, to ask them, you know, what could be wrong or anything like that. And someone mentioned that due to the chocolate, it could have been a form of like dumping syndrome. And in people who are who have had the gastric sleeve, dumping is actually really rare. In my case, I think that the chocolate didn't agree with me, and sometimes chocolate doesn't, and in this case it really didn't, and so that's what's happened. Yeah, so, and I think the firm tofu was just too firm for my stomach to handle at the moment, and that's why I had that pressure. So, you know, that's the only really nasty thing that's happened. I guess the other thing that's been really hard for me from a different point of view is, you know, the mental struggle, and I talked about that a little bit, but the reality that I can't eat or drink much is really hitting me now, because I have to live it. Like, it's a lived reality now. I have to eat often, so as in, if I'm going to get enough fluids or enough calories into me, you know, every 1 to 2 hours, I need to be making a concerted effort to sip fluids. I need to be making a concerted effort to eat food, and that's, it's hard. Like, I've never had to really be this diligent before when, in terms of drinking or eating, and so that's been really difficult, to be honest. But you know what, like, it'll get better. I know it'll get better. And the other thing I do is, when I do eat solids now, or even puree, whatever it is, I always use my portion bowl that, you know, you can buy from Great Ideas, that website. But I always portion my food out first, so that, you know, if I've eaten too fast, it limits me from having eaten too much. And the same with any solids. So like, if I'm eating chicken thigh, I'll cut out, you know, half a cup first, maybe a bit less, because it's actually quite filling for me. And then I will also only cut it into little pieces, so that it encourages me to really chew. And one of the things I'm focusing on at the moment is deliberately chewing my food a lot before I swallow, so that I'm not, you know, inhaling my food. I never inhaled my food before, but I didn't realize just how much I didn't chew my food enough until now. The other thing that I need to be more diligent doing is to use a meal timer to stop myself eating too fast. I don't do that each time I eat. I do it every 3rd or 4th session. So the meal timer, it's a free app, and what I do is I set 30 seconds for chewing or eating, and then I set 2 minutes for waiting, as in I don't eat, I don't drink, I wait 2 minutes, and then in the next 30 seconds, I will be able to eat food, like have my next thing that I'm going to eat or chew or swallow, whatever it is, and do that. That's when I'm having a puree or having solid food. I don't need to do that with drinking a fluid. So if I'm having a cup of tea or lime cordial or something, I don't really need to do that. The other thing is, you know, being mindful when I eat, like doing mindful eating, so that I can savor my food more. So for example, if I'm having chicken thigh, it's, you know, I'm chewing it and I'm really taking the time to enjoy my food. And, you know, this is a behavior change that I need to do. And, you know, I'm doing it bit by bit. I am not perfect, but I know I have to do this bit by bit. So those are the things that I'm working on. So the next 2 weeks are weeks 5 and 6, and I progress onto a soft, solid diet. And in my case, I'm not going to be making really fancy recipes or anything like that. It's going to be, you know, meat with soft vegetables like broccoli or something else, you know, overcooked vegetables. And then also I'm going to make soups on the weekend, or I might ask my mum to help me make soup on the weekend because she's really good at it. I don't know how to make the Chinese soups, like the traditional Chinese soups or Cantonese soups. So I'm learning from her at the moment, and also getting the recipes from her. But yeah, I'm doing all of that. And yeah, that's been really good. The reason why I want to do the soups is because it's nice to drink a soup, and that helps me keep my fluids up. I'm actually going to also buy decaf tea, like decaf black tea. The reason is that I like to drink tea a lot. Like I prefer to drink warm fluids, but I'm finding I really enjoy drinking tea, and it's really soothing to my stomach. So I decided that next grocery shop I'm going to be drinking decaf tea, because I think I might be having too much caffeine during the day, and that keeps me up at night, which is not helpful. So yeah, anyway, look, if you've got any questions, put them down below, you know, and if you liked this video, press the like button and subscribe, hit the notification bell as well. So you can choose personalized, or you could choose all. So if you choose all, you'll get notified of every single video that I make. If you choose personalized, then the YouTube algorithm will only notify you of what it thinks you like based on the kind of videos you like and your interests. So yeah, anyway, thank you very much, and bye for now. See you.